All right, so it is February 5th. It's Monday. We started this on the 1st, actually, but we had family in from out of town. My brother-in-law was in from Alaska. We did a lot of hanging out, going to comic book shops, stuff like that. A lot of fun. Always enjoy when he comes into town to visit. It's like, it's like one of my best friends coming into town. So we're working on the 1906 Renault Runabout by Pyro. There it is there. Actually, a pretty cool kit. It's very, very nice. Just a little bit of mold line cleanup here and there. Nothing out of the ordinary, and it was actually not that much. I just went through and sanded some parts here and there. Did have some injector pin marks on the bottom of this tub to clean up in the bottom of the running boards. Not that bad, not very deep. Just a couple of swipes with the sanding stick, and away we went. As I build this kit, I do a little more research here and there about it just to find out more about it. And then I realize the reason why there's this lower tub down here is because the engine is kind of a funky deal. It's got, where did our engine get off to? Here it is. Our engine is actually faces this way. This would be the forward end of the car. So this back end here actually goes to a giant fan. And then the drive shaft goes on from there. But yeah, this giant fan thing actually helps bring in cool air through the radiator, which is mounted behind the engine. Yeah, it's like this box deal here. Okay, that's just a gigantic radiator, and that sits behind the engine right in this area here, ahead of the what do you want to call it? Cockpit, crew cabin. It's not the interior, that's for sure. The exterior exposed interior, but ahead of the control cabin. So yeah, there's a gigantic radiator there, which is, as once you realize what you're looking at, you can see it right here. Right, that's just a giant radiator, and that's why this has this oddly shaped nose here, this duckbill type nose, because the air flows across this, goes through the radiator, gets drawn through, and then out the bottom of the car. If I'm correct about that, I believe I am, but that would make sense as to why this is ducted like this. So yeah, the driver and passenger are going to be a little on the warm side, but hey, you know what? 1906, probably very happy for that. So one thing about this Pyro kit that's really, really astounding, and I didn't really think about it too much until just the other day when I was going through priming everything. I was like, you know what? This is a really big piece. I mean, yeah, 1/32 scale, but this is one solid piece here. This is all one molded in one go. For 1967, that's pretty darn awesome. At first I thought somebody had glued some pieces together, and I double checked the instructions. No, this is how this is molded. This is how this comes. Quite shocked. I mean, look at these thin little takeoffs back here for the lanterns and taillights. Literal taillights they're going to have on here. Look at these guys. They're molded very, very finely. The running board supports, those are molded really nicely. The frame horns up here, those are really nicely done. I'm just like, man, this is actually, oh, also there's some wood grain detail down here. I'm like, dude, this is an awesome little model. I had no idea. I thought Pyro, wow, this is going to be something that we're going to blow up later on. But no, this is actually pretty sweet. I've got some pretty good looking, let's see if we can drill in a teeny bit here. Good looking side detail on the springs. It's all right looking. Oh, and when I paint, I got a little bit of flash in there. I got to clean up. When I paint these guys, I'll clip onto that hub, that pin there, and then cover the opposite one with a little bit of blue tack putty, so that when we go to put the wheels on, the tolerances are still the same. We don't have to sand these down or scrape them down or something like that. Something I started doing recently really helps us out in final assembly. Like, why are the wheels not straight? You know, that kind of a thing. Let's pull back here again. So here's our duckbill hood, I like to call it. It also looks kind of like a vintage toaster. So you see that, like, it's like there's a little door right there, and then in a lot of the photographs I've seen, it looks like there's a little handle molded on this or attached to the side here. Looks like they could pop these open for extra cooling if they wanted to. Matter of fact, some of the race car photos I saw from the early Grand Prix cars from this era actually had all of this paneling removed and just had screen mesh in there to help with airflow, bringing air through the cowl and then into right directly into the radiator that was sitting behind the engine. So fascinating deal. The top here actually has, you can see the heavily grained detail that's in here. It's very dimensional. I think we need to do one more pass of primer on there to seal that up a little bit better. This was molded in red, as you can see there. Oh, I need to probably move this so they can prime that too, because that will be visible. But we're probably going to do a satin black on this, as well as the interior cushions. I thought about doing a brown leather color in there. Not 100% certain yet, but it would be nice to have a little bit of a contrast between the top and the actual seat cushions, not just be black with black. And then there's a little, I keep saying interior, but it's not an interior. Yeah, so there we go. There was some molded in detail on the face here, but because I had to do a lot of sanding around these areas, that got lost. So I just deleted the whole area. It happens. It's small scale stuff that you kind of have to blow stuff away sometimes. But yeah, another passive primer on here because they're still a little bit thin on those cushions. So there's that. And here's the turtle deck. Well, I call it a turtle deck because that's how it's referred to on a Model T. But as you can see, there's still a little hint of red coming through here. And that's how I'm seeing it, a little bit of hint of red. And now I'm not 100% sure if there actually is red coming through, or if it's because I know it's molded in red and I'm kind of like seeing it because I knew it was there. So I'll just do one more pass of primer. It's not going to hurt anybody. Be happy with that. The wheels. Look at these wheels. Those are cool. I like the bolt detail on there. And the little lugs and everything, that's just really cool. Nice looking hub. I did tinker with the idea of doing the spokes in a wood tone color. That's a lot to deal with. It's 4 of these buggers, and each one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's got all numbers of the clock on there, so that's a lot to deal with, front and back. So we'll see how it goes. I've seen a lot of photographs of vehicles of this vintage where the hub is the color of the car, I think, and then the wheels sometimes are the color of the car, sometimes are actually red. So, you know, flip-flopping on that. There's not much to paint on this thing, so we got to make sure we have, you know, a good color scheme on that. But that's basically where we're at right now. We're going to go off and do some more painting, spray the engine block and a couple other bits so we can get onto some detail painting. We're still sorting out what color we want to do. We got some test spoons here. We got British Racing Green. We've got just plain old blue, TS15. And then we've got TS8 Pappy Red over some red primer. Some gray primer to give it more of a, I don't know, darker look. But it's not, I don't know, it's a little too red still. I wanted it a little bit a bit more burgundy-ish, a little bit darker, a little bit bluer, I think, in the color value. But so I don't know. I mean, if I wanted to paint the wheels red, that's a good option there. But I'm kind of leaning between these two guys. Haven't quite decided yet. This one's probably going to win, but we're not 100% sure. So stay tuned for more on that. We'll be back with you as soon as we get more to report. Okay, we've had to move on to Tuesday here because we did the priming on Monday and a couple of little sprays here and there. But got busy doing stuff around the house and whole, you know, all that kind of jazz. So a lot of photographs we've been looking at. It looks like this is going to be the interior facing bit of the wall, of the firewall, and that's going to go, there's these little notches right there. It's going to go like that. From a lot of the photos I've seen of the inside of this type of vehicle, this is actually like a piece of metal or tin that's painted body color. On some cars, it's actually a piece of wood. So maybe there's a difference in like an upgrade or something like that. But this is cool. I went ahead and I sanded this because this is all, of course, just bright work. So I sanded this, and my hopes are to mask it as well as can be masked, prime it, and then hit it with some body color so that this will look a little bit less toy-like because of how much gold we have going on here, or brass. And it really looks like, from a lot of the photographs that I'm seeing, that if you can see here, maybe if we drill in a little bit, there we go. Yeah, that's not helping out. Oh, there we go. You can see the itty bitty little brackets up here. Those are supposed to be brass, but everything else is supposed to be wood tone. So I'm like, maybe, I don't know, maybe I should just strip this whole thing and then come back and then sort of paint these little bits brass here. That would definitely make life easier. And then we can do wood tone painting on all that stuff and then just highlight the brass areas. So that's definitely definitely something we want to consider. But you know, check out how badly this actually has fisheyes in the gold. So that's kind of crazy, huh? This guy actually got fisheyes in the plating on that. So there's that. Yeah, you know what? I think we're going to strip that. I think we're going to strip that off there, make life a little easier for us. We have gone on to start doing some wood toning on the wood planking underneath the car. And we have some wheels. So we have some wooden wheels going. So those are looking good. We're going to paint the hubs black. And then the outer wheel is going to be body colored. And we chose to go with the blue. I'm looking for a good example of that because I've only painted a couple of things. Like this toolbox here. This is just the first pass of color on there. It's not perfect. But again, it's just the first pass of color on there. So that's the blue we're going with, TS15. I like how it looks. It's looking good on the back sides of the wheel rims. So I like that. I like that. I think it's going to look good with, you know, here. Let me show you a part. We're going to strip the cover, the plating off, but I think it's going to look good there for the rest of the car. So there's that. We did a little bit of research. Told us that this facing plate here is supposed to be a piece of wood also. So did some wood streaking on there. Wow, that's just really bad with the focusing. So we did some wood streaking there, and then we'll mask that off, and then we'll come back and paint the body color on the outside, and then we'll probably have to brush paint the seat cushion there. Most photographs I've seen, these are black, like some sort of leather or leather. so probably stuff with horsehair or something like that too. But yeah, these are supposed to be black. I did see one photograph where it was a really nice brown leather. I like that. I thought that looked pretty cool. The top's already black. The wheels are black. The chassis is going to be black. So I'm just going to, and plus the blue is so dark. So I think I might try doing a tan or a brown in there to lighten that up a little bit. So there's that. Oh, and then the spindles for the top. I'm working on those, trying to get those, get a little bit of a wood grain technique texture on those too. But most everything else is in primer still because the weather deteriorated here rather fast today. Didn't want to go out and paint when it was really, really windy. And now it's cold and rainy, so, you know, it is what it is. Oh, yeah, and here is our engine. Painted it gloss black because we're going to hit this with some metallic colors and try to bring that out there. So that's the plan. And so far things are going pretty well, you know, other than having to stop to do things around the house here and there. Things are going pretty well, so that's great. And we'll check back when we have more. Well, now we're on to Wednesday. Seems like we're only getting a little bit of time at the bench every day. It's all right. It's all right. We're getting a lot of other stuff around the house done, so that's good. Mrs. BG is very happy about that. And let's see here. So, last clip we were talking about how we had that firewall piece with that's got the windshield and all that stuff. That was all covered in the the brass color here. So we put it into some purple power to strip it, and you guys aren't going to believe this. All right, where's my tweezers at? Here they are. So I've never seen this happen before, or seen a kit manufacturer do this before, but yeah, they chromed transparent plastic. That's just a bubble. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. But yeah, they chromed transparent plastic. Is that crazy? I mean, that is just, I've never seen that before. Very interesting. So, needless to say, this entire tree here is covered, is brass plated transparent plastic. So that's kind of cool. I've never seen that before. I know I've said that several times, but hey, I've never seen it before. Anyway, so the stuff coming off of here is pretty interesting. I mean, it's really caked on. Let's see if we can drill in a little bit here. There we go. It's really caked on onto some of these areas here, but look at this. It's peeling off in chunks. I've had this in the degreaser for, yeah, 24 hours. About 24 hours now. And I've had it out to brush it a couple of times. And there's some thick stuff on here. I think it's the, this is like watching an episode of Dr. Pimple Popper. There we go. There's some thick junk on here. I think it's the lacquer that they use. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, that came out of my ear. No, it didn't. That just came out of that piece there. So that's really interesting that it's coming apart like that. But yeah, strange stuff, man. Different times. So yeah, so we've had to like sit here and peel off all of this excess stuff. But hey, it's going to fit better, that's for sure, without all that wax on there, or all that lacquer built up in there. I presume it's lacquer. I can't imagine what else it would be unless it's like some sort of chemical thing that's now illegal in the United States and causes cancer in California. But yeah, so we're going to go on to cleaning this up here, and then we're going to go back and paint this all wood tone, and then of course do body color down here, and we're just going to make it all nice and pretty. So there we go. We did get to make some advances on the wheels, and so have a nice wood tone on there. We're waiting to paint it with transparent orange to seal it all up and finish it off. We're going to wait till we get this guy here done and ready for paint for the transparent orange, so we can do it all together in one go. So there's that. This piece here, we have the wood graining on there that I like that. That's good. That'll work for the scale that it's in. So we got to paint this body color. Of course, that's going to have to wait until this part here can get the transparent orange. So it's like everything's hinging on this guy getting done. Also, we did a couple of coats of, there we go, just the brown panel liner. Couple of coats of that over the tan paint, and I like that variation going on in there. And we're just going to seal that with the transparent orange also, and the supports for the top should look pretty good once you get those sealed with the paint. And so everything's kind of based on this guy right here. Once we get that guy cleaned up and then primed and painted, then we can move on with everything else, because I want to paint the body color out at the same time. So I want to do this big piece here, and then the hood and the turtle deck and the chassis all at the same time. So there. Yeah, so it's kind of hinging on this guy right here. So we're going to get back to work on this, getting cleaned up, and then off into primer, and we'll be back when we have a bit more. Okay, so we have jumped forward in time to February 9th. It's now Friday, and we didn't do much yesterday because we were out of the house most of the day, but we did get a chance to actually put some matte black on the chassis and running boards. I'm not too worried about this because we're going to hit this with some gloss black on the fenders. Whatever overspray on the bottom of the car, I'm not too worried about. We did mask off the wood panels that we've done down there, so that's all masked off. And then we're going to try doing some Ushi powder on the bottom of here to bring out sort of like an iron look or a tin look maybe. So we're going to go with that. And then we'll probably do some rubber black on the top of the running boards to give it more of a rubberized coating. I don't think that the original cars had something like that on there, but I think it would be kind of a nice look on there. We've tried doing some work on the engine. I painted this gloss black. I think it was because it picked up the wrong rattle can. I painted this gloss black, and it's not working well for the brush painting that I wanted to do on here. So I think we'll give it a flat coat and then reattempt some brush painting, because that was that cylindrical surface there, the bottom of the engine was the paint didn't want to stay to it. That's funny. It's just kind of like wanted to keep running off. So I had that issue there. Now, we did spray the orange onto pieces. I think I showed this already. We did a little bit of masking and then painted the blue on. And then we're going to have a little bit of masking left to peel off here. And then we're going to go into painting the seat. That's going to be, again, that's going to be like a black, I think. I wanted to do a leather color, but it's going to be too close to the wood grain, I think. So we'll go ahead and do the black. I didn't want to do black, I wanted to do brown, but, and then here's our firewall that we stripped. We did do the wood graining on there as best we could. We picked up this at Andy's hobby headquarters yesterday. Metal acrylic color from Ammo Mig. And it's okay. It's not awesome. It's nothing's ever going to look like this. You know, nothing's ever going to look like that. But it's not. I don't know. It's okay. I have to do some touch ups here and there. It's okay. It's not awesome. So I mean, it is quite a bit different because of course this is plated. This isn't. And I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to get that. And now I kind of regret having stripped this. So, you know, lesson learned. Yeah, it's kind of ugly here and there, but I got to clean it up a little bit. But the wood grain did come out pretty good, so we'll salvage it for that. On this panel right here, will be painted body color, that blue. So I got to mask that off and paint it. But yeah, I am considering possibly going over this with like a chrome marker and then putting yellow over the top of that, putting the brass over the top of that, see how that looks. I don't know. I don't know how good it's going to be, but you know, this is the best I can do right now. So we'll see. I'll probably, as a matter of fact, I might end up actually just stripping all this off and starting all over again, so we can do some experimentation on how to get a better looking brass color. I mean, it's not on the back of these mirrors, it's not that bad, but maybe if I sprayed it on it would have a better consistency rather than brushing it. So we'll see. I have to do some more experimenting on that. I might end up just actually removing the plating off of everything else, because this, you know, this really doesn't look that brassy. It looks more gold to my eye. So we'll see. So there we go. That's what we got going on right now. We're going to be getting this guy into paint and putting some gloss black onto the fenders, and then spraying this guy with some dull coat, and then figuring out what to do about this. So yeah, we'll be back when we have more. Okay, so we are back, and it is Saturday, February 10th. This will be the final installment for this particular video run. We've made a lot of progress in the last 24 hours. Of course, we have our frame, chassis, everything painted up here nicely. We have our suspension glued on. I just went ahead and did black, a nice semi-gloss black. And yeah, that spindle's still red because we had it covered with a little bit of putty, so that when we painted this, it wouldn't get gummed up. So that's why you'll see those like that. And of course, we had the clips on these side, on this side, so it doesn't change the diameter of those spindles at all, so we don't have to hollow out the center of the hubs. Since we had everything painted black here, and then we had a nice looking wood tone, we had that masked off. We went over this with some ushi powder. If you're not familiar with that stuff, it's getting really hard to find. I tried searching for this on Amazon as well as eBay. I find very little in results. But this is a metal polishing powder, steel type. There used to be, I got this at Andy's hobby headquarters back when he carried it, like, I'm going to say like 5, maybe 6 years ago. And he doesn't carry it anymore because he said that the guy who produces this is very, very, doesn't follow a schedule, I guess is the best way to do that. So there are other metal polishing products out there. I just recently picked up this at Andy's. It's Cobra. It's actually by Ammo, but I don't know why it's called Cobra. Cobra, I guess Cobra Motor Paints partnered with Ammo or something like that. Anyway, this is a chrome effect for black gloss, and it says on here step 2 of 2. Well, I posted this on Facebook, and a lot of folks were like, well, what's step 1? Obviously step 1 is painting it gloss black. So, you know, there you go. Here's a QR code. Not sure what that's going to get you. Probably just take you to the website so you can order more, or maybe it'll give you instructions, but here are the instrucciones. And the funny thing about this is we're going to take a quick second here and show you this, because it looked like, as my friend Brandon referred to it, as chromed hamster turds. So there you go. But yeah, they're little pellets, and they're wax, they're little waxy pellets. So you mash them up with a Q-tip and then apply them. I actually did that on this spoon. And of course, this is a blue spoon, so it's not awesome looking, but it's not horrible. And I tried licking my finger and trying to remove some of it, and it will come off, but it is waxy. So I did do a little bit of testing with Tamiya transparent colors to see how they did, to see if they reacted with it at all. And it seems like they sit on top of the this metal polish, no problem. So maybe in the future when we have an area we have to have metallized and can't can't get some bare metal foil in there, this might be the solution to that. So we're just trying some experiments. I know that with the ushi powder, if you try to put some paint over the top of this, it just lifts it right off, or makes it come away. So having this with a waxy coating to it seems like these acrylics just sit on top of there, no problem, and they dried nicely, and they're not wanting to come off to some light touching, so that's good. But anyway, back to the project here. So I did some ushi powder on the bottom piece of tin. I like that metallic sheen that it has. I did some on the exhaust muffler too. I was thinking about doing a little bit of dry brushing on the rear differential and the springs, probably just to bring those out a little bit, make them a little bit more present rather than just being there, possibly even the front suspension too. But yeah, that's looking okay. We have our rubber black. I hand painted that on there. It looks pretty good. I might need to do one more pass right there, but otherwise that's not looking so bad. Engine wise, I started doing some hand painting on the engine block. I got some aluminum on there. I had a different color at the bottom of this, and I didn't like it. We're not going to see it anyway because it's buried down inside the engine bay. So I did a brighter aluminum, and then we'll do a wash of like an oily wash over the top of that. And then once we get the cylinders painted, I think I'll do those in dark iron. This is dark iron here, and do the cylinders, and then maybe a little bit of touch-ups here and there, and then over here on the valve side, and then the exhaust, and then that'll be ready to be installed into the chassis. And then there's a lot of bright work that gets attached to that. So in the last segment, we talked about bright work and what we're going to do with it. We weren't 100% sure. Well, I went ahead and stripped it. This stuff is nasty. That is gross on many levels, so we'll have to deal with that later today. But I was taking a look at our windshield holder firewall piece, and I thought, the brass paint that's on here is actually not bad. I mean, it's not bad at all. I'm curious to see how it sprays. So we did some detail painting on this guy. I like how it looks now. It looks more brass than anything, because the other stuff was literally yellow tinted chrome, and that's not what brass looks like. So I wanted something that was a little more authentic to the brass coloring. So I still have to paint the body color on there. I was still hesitant on that, but yeah. So I went ahead and stripped all the plating off of everything. Excuse me. So that we can go ahead and move forward with painting stuff with this brass color here that we got from MIG Ammo. And then here is our seat. And I just did a quick pass of flat black, Tamiya flat black. Hand painted it on there. And it's kind of thin in some spots. That's fine. I don't mind, because that's just the base for the semi-gloss black that's going to go over the top of that. And then we're going to see if we can do a little bit of, don't quote me on this, but we're going to try doing a little bit of highlighting painting on here to make it look a little bit more leathery. So that's a technique we're going to try. I really like how the wood tone showed up on here. I sent that to a picture to a couple of friends, and they're pretty impressed by that. So that felt really good. But this piece here is nearly done. Just need to finish off the cushionings. And we got our wagon wheels painted up this morning. So I need to do the center hub still, but we have a first coat of blue paint on there. I have to go back and do a little bit of touch-ups here and there. But these are pretty hard to paint. They're small, they're tricky. But yeah, we put a layer of paint on there and come back and do another coat a little bit later on once it's all cured up and stuff. So I really like how they're looking. There we go. I like that one a little better than this one, because this one we have a little bit of that wood edge still showing a little bit, and I don't mind having the wood edge on the inside because that's kind of how it would have been, but I don't like having that wood edge sticking out there. I want it to be metal all the way down, so painted metal all the way down. So there's that. Yeah, basically that's where we're at. So we're actually doing really good with this little guy. It's been a lot of fun. This is a very, very different type of kit to build, and yeah, really excited about how it's going to look. I think our color combination is going to be okay. I mean, you can't go wrong with blue and black, right? I'm wondering how that brass paint's going to show up on this guy. I did do a mock-up with some of the plated pieces before I decided to strip them, and this was the deciding factor. I did this mock-up, and while I was looking at it, I was like, man, it just looks like a toy. You know, it looked too much like a toy, and that's defeats the whole purpose of what we're doing here. So decided to go ahead and strip, and that was the deciding factor for me to go ahead and rip all that stuff off. So there you go. All right, that's going to do it for us in this installment. Thank you all for sticking around for this long. If you did so, it's cookie time. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye now.